Good afternoon. It is Thursday, November 20th, and we are gathered here at an open door courtesy of the Rev. Cindy Krupp. And we are looking at A Course in Miracles from the non-dual perspective. And this particular class or gathering, it's not really a class, it's a gathering of wisdom teachers and students, and we're all of those. It's called Finding the Advaita in A Course in Miracles. And so we are on, for those of you who want to just get your page ready, we're on paragraph 5 at the bottom of page 279 in the purple book, Circle of Atonement. And Sandra, you haven't been with us, but what we've been doing lately is just anyone that wants to volunteer can read a paragraph. And then we sort of find what in the paragraph, what really jumps out for us. So we're sort of doing what we do on Fridays with the Selig book in the same way. And if nobody reads, I'm happy to read, but it's always good to share the to share the word. So just get yourself situated. I'm telling this to myself as much as anyone else. And take the Rana pause, the Indigo pause, and just be where you are. No expectations. Whatever is present is just fine. Allow it to be in your field. And let it move through. We will be talking today perhaps about allowing what arises to arise, letting it touch you, and then giving it back. And let your heart soften. Let your throat soften. Let the back of the head soften. The occiput, let it soften. And soften the eyes. Soften the jaw. Soften the shoulder blades and between the shoulder blades. And let the belly soften. And the lower back soften. And I invite you now to accept fully your immortal, eternal nature. Know yourself, the infinite. And let the belly soften. And let the heart soften. And let the brain soften. And please accept my gratitude for your presence. As the impulse comes to gather, and the quality of how we are together. This is our gift to the world. The purpose of every gathering discovered in the gathering. To recognize beauty and to love what is beautiful, which is the truth. Allow and allow and allow conversation to rise within your being in every particle. The giving and the receiving of words, sharing them, illuminating through the word, through the conversation. Be alive now. Welcome to this empty table, a cleared place where something new can happen. Let us take the hands of those we love across the table. And when we do, what do those hands become? Welcome, Sandra. Welcome, Mel. Welcome, Chuck. Welcome, May. Welcome, Lonnie. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome, Carol and Tony and Karen and Joyce. Welcome to the table. For those who have joined us a little bit later, I'll just remind us that we're on page 279 at the bottom of the page with paragraph 5. And this paragraph 5, it's a clue about how we awaken. So as we've been doing, I'll start with the first paragraph and I'll point out what I think its key sentences are. And then I'm going to invite anyone who would like to read paragraph 6 to just raise your hand and do so. So as we talk about paragraph 5, please think about your reading paragraph 6 or one paragraph or two throughout this gathering.
I'll do 6.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. I love it. Where's my pen? All right, Chuck is 6. All right. We've learned in this teaching, in a course, that mind is really, really important. This is a little, actually, it is in keeping with the non-dual teachings that tell us that beyond mind, there is just pure being, pure awareness. And A Course in Miracles tells us that consciousness, or mind, was the first split. That was the first leaving of the absolute infinite, in which the whole possibility of perception arose. So the infinite absolute split itself and then looked back on itself, said, oh, there I am. And all that proceeded out from that includes this world, this dream. So mind is important because it's with mind that we recognize that there is no mind. In truth, when we go all the way back, there is actually no mind. But yes, Joyce, we are on chapter 7 of the Purple Book, and we're on page 279, paragraph 5. So paragraph 5 tells us mind always, and it underlines always, reproduces as it was produced. What produced mind? The infinite absolute. The mind arises out of the infinite absolute. It's extension, right? But produced by fear, the ego reproduces fear because the ego is a mental thing. It's an idea. The ego is an idea of fear. And once the mind accepts the idea of fear, it will see everything through that lens of fear. Right? It puts on, Rupert Spira talks about how you put on yellow glasses and then you see the whole world as yellow. That fear is those yellow glasses, right? Right? And this allegiance, this is its allegiance. Fear is the ego's allegiance. Not that the ego is a personality or even a thing. It's just an idea, but it's an idea that has an allegiance to fear because fear is what it arises out of, or fear arises out of it. And that makes fear its teacher. And that makes it treacherous to love because you are love. Love is your power, which the ego must deny. It denies it through separation. It must also deny everything which this power gives to you because it, meaning the power, gives you everything. This is Indago's teaching, everything is for me, right? It denies, the ego denies everything the power of love gives to you because love gives you everything. And the ego's alliance is to separation and denial and scarcity. And no one who has everything wants the ego. Its own maker then does not want it. The mind does not want it. Rejection is therefore the only decision which the ego could possibly encounter if the mind which made it knew itself, remembered itself one, remembered itself. And if it recognized any part of the sonship, it would know itself. So I want to just, Mel, you're up, and then Carol. I just want to remind us of one other thing, and then we'll open it up. I'm quoting from um, the introduction to A Course in Miracles. This course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite, and that is what we just read. That is in No One Who Has Everything Wants the Ego, right? No one who has everything wants the separation. But and this is in the text. This freedom that we have, this requires God's endowment of its creation, which is called the sun, with free will, because all loving creation is freely given in one continuous line in which all aspects are of the same order. I'm going to read that again. This requires God's endowment of the sun with free will, because all loving creation is freely given in one continuous line in which all aspects are of the same order, which is why we are free to dream of separation. And I just wanted to put that in. I will put that quote in the chat while Mel is sharing.
Okay. Hi,
What you
everybody.
got, Mel?
Hi, everybody. I guess Amy, actually, though, I had a question kind of. I I always get confused with mind. I mean, there's the one mind. Is mind just the one mind, or are we talking? And then there's the localized quote mind. And I know, like Jenny Beal, for example, I think I asked her about that, and she said, for her, mind is the flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. It's just the flow of something. And we seem to turn it into like an entity, like mind, but it's not really. It's I don't know. I'm trying to put into words kind of what it just seems like. In here in the course, are they talking just one mind? That it's just that paradox of one mind, yet there's all the different filters from that one mind. Is that how you kind of?
Well, the way that Ken Wapnick describes it, which I think it's one way. I mean, it's all words, right?
Mm,
And so there's one we could call it one mind, one being, um, not one mind, because mind implies thought. So
right.
there's just this oneness, a beingness, which is the absolute, and that, of course, is really clear on this. It says, God takes the final step and pulls you into itself. And that is beyond knowing, right? That's beyond knowing. But in the first split, which is consciousness, consciousness is the first split because in A Course in Miracles, it's the first instance, it's the first movement, of the absolute infinite to look back on itself, to go outside itself and then look back on itself. And so we can call that one mind, which is still knowing it's one with the infinite absolute. It knows that that's what it is. There's no separation between it. It's just a play. It's just a game of play. But then out of that forms these layers of separate minds that at one point, according to A Course, and according to non-dual teachings too, falls asleep to itself. it's never not itself. It just falls asleep to itself. So it is confusing, Mel.
Like, yeah.
It is. And so how do you handle that, Mel?
Well, I just see that maybe the two, there's the relative understanding well, the belief in separation is just a thought. And thought is naturally dualistic. It sees everything as me and then everything else outside of me. And that's just the dream that that has arisen from, as you say, falling asleep to what is always true, that we're never separated. And so, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just the mind gets has just is talked about in different ways. Some is the one mind, the one awareness, or the separate thoughts that come through. I don't know. That makes
Yeah. Yeah.
that helps.
Let's try to I appreciate that. We can try to you always bring us back to really clarifying the terms, and I really appreciate that because it's very important that we do that. Um,
No, that helps a lot. Thank you,
well, I'm not sure it does, but thank you
Amy.
for asking the question. I look at this in terms of Francis Lucille's teaching, in terms of using the thorn to remove the thorn, which isn't Lucille's teaching. That's a non-dual teaching from way back. So the using the mind to undo the mind is how I look at it.
Mm.
Right? Using the small mind to undo itself and then recognize, to take that barrier to love's presence away, to just lift the veil. Yeah. It's words. Carol, what have you got for us?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I mean, I always see it as you said, Amy, it's all that is. And the first movement is beingness, consciousness. I've always thought of the mind as just a collection of thoughts and perceptions and whatnot that is um, created and given, made out of itself, out of the absolute self. And all of that is just, the stories of, you know, the rejection, the only decision which the ego could possibly encounter if the mind like knew it, which made it knew itself. It's not, it's just what is, appreciating and looking at its own mechanism, its own self-given, self-made mechanism for this experience. I
I,
mean, it gets very tangled into this whole, oh, it did this, and almost like, well, it needs to know itself. It does know itself.
it does know itself. And
It's
you're right.
appreciating itself in detail. It's like looking at a beautiful garden of different flowers, or looking at a recipe of something amazing and seeing, oh, look at that, and all the different flavors that are involved.
Yeah.
But all of these stories, I guess, are for awareness that is, it has to not, as it's in the mode of examining the beauty of itself. And in the mode of examining that, it's like you can't, a camera cannot be in portrait and up close focus at the same time, right?
Hmm.
a microscope sees a teeny weeny, and then it has to see the full picture. So it's just absolute appreciating its own mechanism, its own details, its own what it truly is. And it seems to be in that moment of looking at an aspect of itself, it seems to be.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all of the stories that come through are just for something that is lost as the microscope,
Hmm.
not momentarily.
Yeah. And paragraph 6, which Chuck is going to read, sort of takes us further into that. And I'm not sure that it will get us further into the weeds or not, but but after Sandra's comment, then Chuck will take us to paragraph 6.
Thank you, all three of you who have spoken. And I have to say, I don't fully comprehend it. However, I love it. It's such a strange thing. And the words that jump out at me in paragraph 5 were, you are love, love is your power.
Yes. And
That's,
what is that?
that is just simple enough for me, and I can apply it right away. That just always tap into that love that I have known and know and have been embraced by, and extend it outward. Without, I cannot seem, this just doesn't matter how educated it is, it never seems to figure it out.
Yep. Yep.
And
And love is the wholeness.
love is our power.
It is the wholeness. Yeah. It's the power. Yes. Thank you. We could just go on and on about this. Lonnie, and then we're going to go to paragraph 6.
I was just sitting here and just thinking about there's our perception of mind and how we experience it. But I guess what I'm hearing in the paragraph is the energy of the greater divine. And that's not necessarily what we experience here. Although it's here that in this perception, all those little stories show up in this beautiful design of experiencing being of this body. But I keep hearing the mind as the energy of the divine that flows through every molecule of our being.
That's not what this is saying.
Okay.
No, that is not what this is saying. I'm sorry if I made it sound that way. That's not what I meant. But thank you for asking that
Hmm.
and making that clarification.
I need clarification.
Well, yeah, we all do. I think what I get from this paragraph, if I can go to, just it says it, it basically says, don't be afraid of what arises in front of you. Your power is love. Love is wholeness. Let it all arise. That's basically what it's saying.
And
It's
that's kind of what I'm saying. Those thoughts, those things that come in, don't be afraid of all of that that comes before you, because the remembering of who and what you are as love gives you the power over all of that. We get distracted, we get drawn in, but that bigger energy of the divine and all of that, that flows right through us.
yeah,
And it brings stuff for us to play with if we want to play.
that's exactly right. That's a really good word is to play with, although we sometimes forget that we're playing. Um, I'm going to ask Chuck if he'd read paragraph 6 because that'll get us into a whole new thing. It'll probably continue this, but Chuck, would you read paragraph 6?
I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
The ego therefore opposes all appreciation, all recognition, all sane perception, and all knowledge. It perceives their threat as total because it senses the fact that all commitments which the mind makes are total. Forced, therefore, to detach itself from you who are mind, it is willing to attach itself to anything else. But there is nothing else. It does not follow, however, that the mind cannot make illusions. But it does follow that if it makes illusions, it will believe in them because that is how it made them.
So what this paragraph says to me is that the illusion or the dream world is powerful because it was made by a powerful mind, right? And this is not the small mind, the egoic mind. This is the mind that knows itself one with its source. So this is the big ass mind, right? It's the big mind. It knows itself one with its source, right? Right. And so the ego maintains its control, or the small mind does, by opposing. That's all it can do. It can do nothing but oppose. It opposes all appreciation. It opposes all recognition of the other as itself. It opposes all sane perception, which is holiness and oneness. And it opposes all knowledge. And the knowledge is the knowledge of the one, right? The absolute infinite, right? So that's what this paragraph is telling us. Now, paragraph 7 explains why it makes no sense to try and find any meaning in this dream world. And it reinforces that. And I'm going to ask Sandra, do you want to read paragraph 7?
Okay. The Holy Spirit undoes illusions without attacking them merely because he cannot perceive them at all. They therefore do not exist for him. He resolves the apparent conflict which they engender by perceiving conflict as meaningless. I think that's what you were saying before.
Yes.
I get it. Yay. We said before that the Holy Spirit perceives the conflict exactly as it is, and it is meaningless. The Holy Spirit does not want you to understand conflict. Oh, because then you would just get all tangled up in it, right?
Because there isn't any conflict.
Yeah, he wants you to realize, he or she wants you to realize that because conflict is meaningless, it cannot be understood. We said that understanding brings appreciation, and appreciation brings love. That's what Carol was saying about all that appreciation, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing else can be understood because nothing else is real, and therefore nothing else has meaning.
Now that's pretty powerful, right?
Startling.
That's really powerful. So that paragraph just explains why, just, don't try and find value in the valueless, right? There's no value in this world. It is valueless. It's 180 degrees from the truth, right? So what the whole I spirit does, which is not a he or she, it's the aspect, it's the Holy Spirit is the idea of oneness, which is still retained in the dream world, in the mind that still thinks that it's separate from itself and the oneness that in which it lives and moves and and is in which source moves through it. Right, so nothing else can be understood except wholeness, because nothing else is real and nothing else has meaning. Coming back, everything is for me, always, always, always.
May I ask you a question about that before we go to Mel?
Yeah.
I'm having a little trouble with the meaningless. If it's for me, then it has meaning, right?
Who is the
Yes.
me that
Is
it
it purposeful? When it's for me, is it purposeful? Is everything that's happening purposeful? I'm not sure what I'm asking, Amy, but
I do, I get it.
okay,
I give everything all the meaning it has for me.
right.
The only purpose is to wake you up to your oneness. It's to
Okay.
wake you up from the dream. That's its purpose. It has one purpose, as Lonnie says, holy, holy, holy. Its purpose is entirely whole, and everything else is meaningless. Its purpose is to wake you up to the oneness, the infinite, absolute that you are.
Yeah, it's to understand the mechanism as the ego is just fear of death. And if there is no death ever, like it's this is a Dolly painting.
Dolly, yeah,
Yeah, the surrealist from the 40s.
yep,
Um, yeah, it's just and it's like when you are able to look at the mechanism as the mechanism and just know that it's forever, it's like the entire experience changes because you're just like you're imbued with the thought of it. You give your own amplitudron the whatever you give it. And like when we're thinking of it in love, as love, and through love, that is like you're just giving it back to what it is, and then it nourishes you. That's it.
bingo.
Bingo. And then we're talking to the angels, and it's like, hey.
Bingo! That's exactly right. That's what inspiration and exhalation is. It's
It's just
receiving.
creative energy. It's the entire, you're holding the entire earth. You are holding the entire earth in your little ballerina hands, and you can like move it around. And it's magic. It's magic. You're just like understanding the thought as thought. It's like yeah, what is all encompassing can have no opposite. And when you let go of fear, when you let go of the fear of death, you are given like all of it back to itself, and then it gives it all to you. And it's like you can just
Exactly. And that is the pleasure that the absolute infinite has in 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 all of this. It is the joy of creation, extension, and receiving, extending and receiving. And we are just a vehicle through which extension happens. We receive it and then we breathe it out. The breath is a perfect metaphor. We breathe in the experience and then we give the experience back. We let it go. Let it go.
yeah.
Right? And there's only one of us here, and there's no meaning in any of it except to have the experience of receiving and giving and
That,
receiving and giving, right? And the block and the where the ego is formed is when there's resistance, when something says no, no, and then the flow stops, right?
Yeah, ion channels. It's like it's exactly how like a plant breathes, but we have to like breathe in spirit. Like that is like you just have to think about it as itself. And it like we are given the free choice, and it's this untangling that we share, but it I think the secret sauce, the little sprinkle of love is literally just that it's never not been so. And no matter what happens, it's like it is all for us.
I
It's trippy, but
understand.
it's like,
Yeah.
I just think the part you said just now is so important, Amy, when you said nothing has meaning, and then you said except, and then all the rest of it has infinite meaning, amazing value and meaning after the word accept,
Well,
because it is. I mean, I probably can't, I know I can't explain it, but I experience it. And what I experience is just so amazingly beautiful and powerful that, of course, it's meaningful, but it's
love,
not the
love doesn't
nitty-gritty of the
need
work.
meaning. Love doesn't need meaning, Sandra. It just is. It doesn't have to be meaningful to itself. It
Maybe I'm
just
using a different
is
definition.
itself.
Yeah,
In the same way that truth doesn't need agreement,
right.
love
Exactly.
doesn't need meaning. It just is.
It
and
just
that's where
is.
the free will comes in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can we let Chuck speak?
Yes, please.
Because he's the only one who was polite and raised his hand. Chuck, are you there?
I am here, although I'm not sure if I'm remembering. I was trying to validate something that I was pulling back in memories from when we did a Thursday Rubber Meets the Road lesson that Cindy picked at. I thought it was 106. I'm not sure uh, exactly how that went, but I remember it was about uh, if you had conflict with someone and it gave a formula for it, and then you put your issue in there and says, but then he came back and said, you can't have any conflict because it's illusion. There's no conflict between you and this. That sounds consistent with what we just were saying earlier.
Yes.
But I'm trying to verify that, not
Yeah,
stated as true.
I think you're absolutely right.
That sound right? That
Absolutely right. And Mel will, I'm sure, elaborate on this because you can only have conflict between separate things, right? But wholeness itself, oneness itself is not in conflict with itself, right? So yes, Chuck, thank you for that. And Mel,
Oh,
it's all
well,
yours.
I'm still back with because you had said something I was going to raise when where it says I give everything all the meaning that it has for me. Now that I is that I the ego. The ego interprets everything in terms of its me, right?
That is
Okay, so it's giving it meaning to what is essentially meaningless because it's a part of the dream. Is
that's
that
right.
oh okay.
That's right.
So that's the meaninglessness is the dream aspect. It's when we don't recognize that there's only the one.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And if you look at line 5 and 6 in this paragraph, um, I want to find it. Well, look at 6, the Holy Spirit, wholeness, the memory of oneness, of the infinite absolute that you still have within you, just wants you to realize that conflict is meaningless and it cannot be understood because it's meaningless. Only love and wholeness has meaning, but its meaning is inherent in its very being. All right, May, do you have a copy of this book?
Yes,
Okay. Do you want to read paragraph 8? Would you
I
be
would
with
love
me?
to.
And
Yeah.
then, Carol, would you read the next one? Okay. See how far we get.
All right. If you will keep in mind what the Holy Spirit offers you, you cannot be vigilant for anything but God and his kingdom. The only reason why you find this difficult is because you think there is something else. Belief does not require vigilance unless it is conflicted. If it is, there are conflicting components within it, which have engendered a state of war, and vigilance has therefore become essential. Vigilance has no place at all in peace. It is necessary only against beliefs which are not true, and would never have been called upon by the Holy Spirit if you had not believed them untrue yourself. Oh, wait, did I? I might
No,
have skipped
got
around.
it.
Okay, okay.
I want to just pull you to paragraph or to sentence 3. Belief does not require vigilance unless it is conflicted. I would almost take belief and just substitute knowing. Knowing does not require vigilance. Well, but that's why they use the word
Well,
belief.
yeah, belief, because it's the belief in the separateness, and it's just an idea. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
So I just want to, Lonnie, I want to just say something and then you're next. So this sentence is saying stay with the idea of oneness. Stay with oneness, right? You think there's something else besides oneness. What is this something else? But there is no other thing. That's why it says, if you will keep in mind what the Holy Spirit offers you, which is oneness, the whole I Spirit offers you oneness. You can't be vigilant for anything else but God and the kingdom. If you remember that everything is one, you are automatically being vigilant for God and the kingdom, right? That's what
Hmm.
this is saying. I want to make sure I'm clear about that. All right. Only the idea that there's something else besides God and the kingdom requires vigilance. And it's mostly vigilance to believe in separation. But once you truly grok that there's only one and there are no exceptions to that, all you do is accept that everything is for you and you do not need to be vigilant for anything, because it's all for you, right? That's why vigilance has no place in peace. You're at peace with whatever arises. You don't need to be vigilant. It has no place there. So, does this mean that when I'm angry or dissatisfied that I have not been vigilant? Like, should I go, "Oh, you're angry, Amy. You've lost your vigilance." No. It's not what this means. But when I repress or deny my anger or my dissatisfaction or my discomfort, then I need to be vigilant. Then I need to remember, right? I need to remember what? To allow and allow and allow. And if the feeling of discomfort or anger or contraction, as Cindy says, arises, I say, okay, I'm being vigilant. I notice that it's arisen. Here it is. It may mean that I'm resisting something in the moment, but if I bring that resistance to my whole I-ness, then I am bringing it to my true self. I am breathing it in, bringing it to my true self, and then I'm offering it back out in awareness of the resistance, right? Oh, that was a moment of like, I got blocked. Things were blocked there in the movement. The movement got blocked. What did it feel like for that movement to get blocked? I would call that maybe resistance. Oh, as soon as I realize the movement has been there of resistance, I do a may. I open up and I let it go. I do the may. I am bringing all of it to my true self. And this is the vigilance. This is the vigilance. It's just remembering in every moment, right?
Non-judgmental awareness.
Non-judgmental awareness. Thank you. Thank you. Lonnie, it's yours.
And I find that there's such a difference in knowing and belief. I find that word belief to be like a crack in the sidewalk, and when I trip over it, it makes me stop and be curious about where it came from. Because
Yeah.
belief always seems to be tied to something someone else said or told me. And knowing belief is one of those things that for me happens here, and knowing happens here.
And that's a really great point. So one of the in the oh one of the first attributes of a teacher of God is trust. That's one of the first attributes. And I can equate trust in some ways with belief. It's not exact, but it has parallels. So we trust because we don't know yet, but we trust, and then we investigate, we watch, we experiment, we see what happens when we trust. And as we have our experience of seeing what happens when we trust, then we move into knowing, right?
Because every act of trusting opens the awareness into the knowing.
Yes,
Every progressive act of trust.
yes. Trust is the movement. It's often the first stirring of movement, right? Trusting it's like the first loosening of the block to love's awareness. Thank you for that. We've got time to read another paragraph, Carol?
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to say that there isn't even any knowing. There just is. And there's a lot of speaking in this world about, well, I know this, and then down the road it's recognized as, oh, that was a belief, because knowledge expands and turns knowledge into past beliefs. There's none of it, because we're talking about a dream of something not fully knowing itself. And there's just, am I like?
Yeah, but here's where words are. I see where you're pointing. Words are so difficult, aren't they, Carol? They're so tough.
Yeah, and it almost keeps the stories going, instead of just going straight to, I don't need to know. This
I
is
do
what's
know one
happening in
thing,
the
though,
moment.
Carol. I
Yeah.
know that I am.
Yes,
I know that. That is knowing. That's a knowing.
that's knowing. Absolutely. We know that we are, that is, but we don't know what, where, how, or when. We
No,
truly don't know what's going on.
no, we
We
don't.
just know that there is existence.
Exactly. We know that there is being.
Yeah,
We know that there is being. We know that. And then that's it.
the rest of it is all the story.
It's all commentary.
Little stories in the big story.
Yes.
That ultimately was just a big loving appreciation of itself as it explores itself, as it loves itself. That's it.
We don't even know that.
No, it
know
feels
that.
like it. Well, love, that may not even be the word, but there's something that is home, maybe home with itself. Something that is the absence of conflict, absence of unpeace. It just is. It's just, yeah.
Just being.
Too many words.
Knowing being.
I think we often just use our very limited language to try to describe something that perhaps there is nothing in our words, in our language for.
That's right.
No, because we can't even know it.
The universe doesn't speak English. It speaks in like feeling.
Vibration and frequency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
God.
Universe
Okay. Do you want me to
does not
read?
speak English. Yes.
Yeah.
English is not its primary language. Yes. So paragraph 9.
Okay. But you cannot deny that when you believe something, you have made it true for you. When you believe what God does not know, your thought seems to contradict his, and this makes it appear as if you are attacking him. We have repeatedly emphasized that the ego does believe it can attack God and tries to persuade you that you have done this. If the mind cannot attack, the ego proceeds perfectly logically to the position that you cannot be mind. By not seeing you as you are, it can see itself as it wants to be. Aware of its weakness, the ego wants your allegiance, but not as you really are. The ego, therefore, wants to engage your mind in its own delusional system, because otherwise the light of your understanding will dispel it.
Thank you. Thank you. There are a couple things going on in this paragraph. One is that the Course is trying to communicate that you're not a body, right? You're a mind, a non-local mind. You're not a body. So that's one of the things that this is telling you. But the other thing it says right in the beginning is when you believe that the absolute does not know, your thoughts seem to contradict it, and it makes it appear you're attacking truth. What is truth? It's what is, right? When you believe, I'm looking at sentence 2, when you believe what God does not know, that means that what is arising for you is not to your liking, right? Your thought seems to contradict his or God's. You can just substitute reality here. When you believe that reality or love does not know, your thought seems to contradict your rejection of reality seems to contradict reality. And it makes it appear as if you are attacking reality. Right? And we have repeatedly emphasized that the mind asleep does believe that it can change reality, that it can control reality, that it can be the doer, right? And that you have succeeded in becoming the doer. It believes that, right? That's essentially what this is saying. And that the separated mind, the mind asleep, wants to stay dreaming by engaging you in the dream, wants to keep you in the dream, in its own delusion of being able to reject what is arising in front of you in the moment, right? Francis Lucille says, if you think you know that you're in control of your mind, then tell me what your next thought will be. You don't know, right? You don't know. But the ego will tell you, oh, I think all my thoughts, right? And I'm responsible for all my thoughts, and I can judge myself because I'm having bad thoughts. So we're almost finished with this. Does anybody have any thoughts about that last paragraph? It was pretty complicated, but actually very simple.
Yeah, it's just a disco ball, basically. Just a disco ball.
Yep, just a disco ball. Thank you. All right.
I'm kind of hesitant to ask this question, but I really want to ask it. If we're not to know anything, why are we reading these books? If there's nothing for us to learn or to know. This is a genuine question. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I think it's the invisible web. It's the thought. It's the thought. It's thought speaking back to itself to help it. And it's like whoever is called to pick up this text and really just like let it infiltrate, like it'll happen. And it's co-creation. It's all like, and it's beautiful reading the Paul Selig books because they're just like it's the next foldment, it's the next exponentialization into like whatever's next for the story. It's the creator, like whatever is creating itself has a little funny story that it's it's stringing along, and it's I think we get to we're just the witness. We're like a little like disco ball witnessing whatever is arising. I don't know. I'm gonna stop.
That was good.
That was good. Good answer.
Thank you. I think that the key word, May, that you said was co-creation.
Yes.
It's co-creation.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
because what
happening.
is yeah,
We're
what is
not
all
doing it.
encompassing can have no opposite.
There's
And
nothing doing it in particular. It's happening. It's all that is that's manifesting itself. There's not a something choosing to do it. Like it's
Mhm.
why am I here? I don't know. Like what it's something's here. Why? Who knows?
That all
Yeah.
makes
just
sense to
is.
me, all the different stories I've heard of how people end up with the Course in Miracles book.
Yeah.
It happens just that way. Nobody,
Yeah.
it fell off the shelf in here, or I don't, weird stories of how we ever even picked this thing up.
And I
Exactly.
wanted, Chuck, I want to just say there is an intelligence here. It's not just happening in chaos. I want to make sure that we don't go into that. I don't want to confuse this with nihilism. It's
Oh,
not
no.
just happening. It
Yeah.
is just happening, but it's happening in an intelligent love.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I want to just keep that.
Because I had the book on my bookcase from 1989 to 2004, and it was the disappearance of the universe that got me to go get it, and that's why I'm sitting here today. Nothing that I did on my own, other than
Thank
so
you.
I think that's what she's saying. What you just said too.
Yeah, I think so. So, Lonnie, you're up. You're going to close us out. Actually, I may read some stuff that Cindy put in the chat, but Lonnie, you're up.
I guess I see why in your question, Sandra, I see the books as if we're here to have this experience, whatever, I mean, of all the billions of things one can incarnate as at least on this planet, the opportunity to incarnate in human form gives us a different experience than perhaps this energy, I'll say this energy, could have any place else. And the books I see as a tool to the remembering because the forgetting is essential to standing in the joy and the splendor of remembering who and what, at least for me, I am.
Yeah, yeah. It's the infinite having infinite experience, right? Why? I don't understand the infinite. I can only, yeah, Cindy says, Sandra, sometime in the last few months, I heard Helen Hamilton address that question. If I can remember where, I will get it to you. And Cindy says, the ego needs attention, believing attention to be fed. Otherwise, it weakens and loses its power. If we don't believe in it, it loses its power. And she says, I've been equating trust with faith and consciously choosing what I have faith in. All I know is that I love doing this with you. I love remembering what we are together. It's so much fun. And that's it for me. I just have so much fun. It just brings me so much joy. Right? And I know I'm the infinite absolute, having this seemingly limited experience. And the more I'm grounded in the trust and the experience of being the infinite absolute, the more fun I have with all the shit that comes down, right? And the more I allow and allow and allow. And the more I allow, the more my mind expands. And so that's it for me. So next week we will start on paragraph 10. That's where we'll start. And gosh, I love us. I do. And I'll read
We're
our.
not going to meet next week, though, are we?
Oh, that's right. Darn, we're not. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for your patience.
Oh my gosh. It's not patience. It's pure
Well,
joy.
whatever it is, thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll close out with, as we breathe in and we breathe out, as we leave each other, we invite each other back, right? So come, whoever you are, wanderer, fire worshiper, lover of leaving. This is not a caravan of despair. Does not matter that you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Still come, and yet again. So thank you for making this what it is. Thank you, Cindy.
I love us.
I do
Stop the
too.
recording.
I do too. If I absolutely can't